At the sunrise, I opened up my eyes, and at the first light, there you are, staring back at me with a heart so free. And I just wanna be where you are. In this moment I could stay forever, hold you in my heart just like a treasure, dreaming up our greatest new endeavor. Don't look back, we're on our way. Today is a good, good day. When I found you among the flowers blue, what a wild view. There you are, under the old oak tree, or somewhere across the sea. I just wanna be where you are. In this moment I could stay forever, hold you in my heart just like a treasure, dreaming up our greatest new endeavor. Don't look back, we're on our way. Today is a good, good day. In this moment I could stay forever, hold you in my heart just like a treasure, dreaming up our greatest new endeavor. Don't look back, we're on our way. Today is a good, good day. Today is a good, good day. Today is a good, good day. Today is a good, good day.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to what is truly the hottest event of the year to attend. And it's an invitation only. The wedding of Tyler and Natalie. It's finally here. Or as Natalie prefers to call it, Tyler's big day. Now we know Natalie, and if she had had it her way, the vows would have already been done and we'd be heading towards the reception. She never likes to be the center of attention. Today is not only the celebration of a new beginning for Tyler and Natalie, but it is also the celebration of family and friends being able to come together, and for some of us, after many months apart. Chris and Sasha are home from Toronto, Tim and Cora back from Vancouver, so this truly will be a celebration for all of us today. And that's exactly what Tyler and Natalie wanted for all of you here, for family and friends to gather in this beautiful orchard and enjoy a day filled with laughter and love. So let's first begin with the story of Natalie and Tyler. I may have taken some license in some of this, but just go with me. Urban legend says it began long ago, under the fluorescent lights of winters. Now, it's unlikely that young Tyler made any overtures at that time towards the sweet and lovely Natalie, but he clearly did not make an impression on her. Even a few years later, Tyler encountered Natalie yet again in the far-off exotic locale of the Dominican Republic. Tyler, desperate to impress sweet Natalie, shamelessly used a cane for a broken foot in order to appeal to Natalie's more sympathetic side. Again, Tyler fell short of his goal, and Natalie was perhaps dismissive of him. As fate would have it, Tyler, once again at a party in Charlottetown, had another chance to showcase his more sensitive side. Although she tried to resist his charms, she ultimately succumbed to his irresistible spell, and the rest is history. For Diane and Jeff, Ann and Doug, and for all of us here today, we are so happy that Natalie and Tyler found each other. Since then, 2 dogs have been added to the family, and Tyler and Natalie have built a house, and then rebuilt a house. The experiences they've had over the 8 or more years together are like no other. In Natalie, I don't think you could find a more selfless person. She is the one who always puts others before herself, wants to right the wrongs she sees, and believes everyone must be treated with kindness and respect. As her brother Chris says, Natalie is the secret sauce. She only has the good qualities of Matt and Chris and truly embodies all of those great Boyle family qualities. I don't think you would find a more optimistic person than Tyler. Despite any personal adversity he has faced, he has always remained positive with a smile on his face. There's not a mean bone in his body, and he's kinder than kind, a trait he inherited from his parents. The Tyler that stands before us today has worked hard for everything that he has achieved. And we also know that Tyler and Natalie also bring the best out in each other. Now, on several different occasions, I've told Tyler that when he met Natalie, he struck gold, and he truly did. But as I reflected on that, I really responded to the idea that he was really carrying on a family tradition. You see, all of the Sharon men and women, especially the women, struck gold when they found the person that they wanted to share the rest of their life with. So Amen. Tyler, thank you for carrying on that tradition. Amen. I've tried for the last few days to find some poetic and elegant way to share thoughts on marriage, and just couldn't seem to find the words that were inspiring. But I do know this: the years will fly by. Soon it'll be 5 years, and then 10. You will mark important events in your lives, and then it'll seem like yesterday. You'll find that you're completing each other's sentences, and conversations can be had without a spoken word. Your love for one another will change and evolve. In many ways, where there were 2 of you, there is now 1, for there's no Tyler without Natalie, and no Natalie without Tyler. Marriage embodies everything about the love and caring relationship we build with the most important person in our lives. It is the top of the mountain when something amazing happens, and also the low valleys when life gets challenging. It is the simple things, like waking up in the middle of the night and knowing the person you love is lying next to you. or just simply holding hands. And it's also the smaller frustrations you encounter when someone doesn't put the toilet seat in. It's the joy of children and family and building a life together, and it can be the sadness of disappointing the one you love most in the world. There will always be ups and downs and times when you will not particularly like the person that you're looking at. But even with that, the bond of your love is always present. Marriage is love, kindness, honesty, and respect for the partner, and putting their needs first at times. But most of all, it is the important promise that you make in your lives, a promise you will make in front of friends and family today, a commitment to each other, an unbreakable bond that will endure all of your lives. As you prepare to make your vows, I'd like to offer a simple blessing that I think all of us here today wish for you. May your mornings bring joy and your evenings bring peace. May your troubles grow few as your blessings increase. May the saddest day of your future be no worse than the happiest day of your past. May your hands be clasped forever in friendship and your hearts join forever in love. Your lives are very special and have been blessed in many ways. And may you know nothing but happiness from this day forward. Corey, you're the Lord of the Rings.
It's out of my hands.
Natalie, will you have this man to be your husband and to live together in holy marriage? Will you love him, comfort him, honor and keep him in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, be faithful to him as long as you both shall live? Tyler, will you have this woman to be your wife and to live together in holy marriage? Will you love her, comfort her, honor and keep her in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, be faithful to her as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Since all of the requirements have been fulfilled and satisfied under the Marriage Act in the province of Prince Edward Island, it's my absolute honor and great pleasure to pronounce you husband and wife. Tyler, you may kiss your bride.
What's going on with me? I've got something good. I know that I should be yours, but I don't feel a thing. I'm scared that I'm turning out just like him. And now we're in a fight in the middle of the night, 'cause I'm always in a mood like I don't even try no more. And you were right, I do this all the time when I'm not satisfied. Don't have a reason why, so I'm acting out 'cause I think I've had enough of smoking weed, 'cause I'm never high enough on low. Oh no, 'cause I'm never high enough on low. What's happening to me? You're giving me everything that I wanted, but living in a dream. Will end when I wake up. Always in the dark and I can't see the light. The moon is shining bright for those who do it right. Not me, I survive with no one by my side. Even heaven shut its doors on me. Acting out 'cause I think I've had enough of smoking weed, 'cause I'm never high enough on low.
I've gone too many nights chasing the shadow of your silhouette, moving just
their faces, they fade into the darkened light of the city, and I see nothing but you as I fall to your gravity. Keep breathing, it's keeping me alive. I'm swimming deeper in the high, I swear. You tremble in my bones, 'cause you're my star. You're my star. Higher than my love, you will always be wherever I go, 'cause you're my star. And you take me home. You take me home. You take me home. You take me home. You make me feel like the stars fell from the sky and rested within me. My fingertips could reach to the dark to keep you company. 'Cause you're my star. You're my star. You're my star. You're my star. Home, you take me home. Take me home to you.
So one day I was over at Tyler and Nat's house, and I witnessed one of the most funniest things I've ever saw. Not sure if Nat was a little bit stressed or she's having a couple of down days, or I'm not sure what was going on, but Tyler tried to cheer her up by giving his philosophical advice, saying you got to embrace your mistakes. So she hugged Tyler. Marriage is great, wouldn't you say? Marriage is like a deck of cards. In the beginning, all you need is 2 hearts and 1 diamond. By the end of it, you wish you had a club and a spade. And some find marriage a walk in the park, and some find it like a walk in Jurassic Park. And just for 1 second, I just want to take the spotlight off of Tyler and Natalie. Recently, I did start cutting out chocolate out of my diet. It's day 12, and I have lost hearing in my left eye. And this last year and a half, it's been a bizarre time with this whole COVID thing, right? It's just been so challenging, I think, for everybody. And it has the ability to just, take life away from you. So, for example, one night a wife looked at her husband and said, "Honey, did I get fat during quarantine?" And the husband replies, "No, dear, you weren't that skinny to begin with." Time of death, April 25th, 11 p.m., coronavirus. Men, it's God's gift to women, right? Or is it the other way around? Anyways, we all listen, pay attention to our spouse all the time, right? So one night at Tyler and Nat, thanks Tracy. One night at Tyler and Nat's, they're eating supper. Things are going good. Food was looking and tasting great. Natalie stands up, looks kind of upset at Tyler. I mean, we all know Tyler's a little deaf. But anyways, she stands up and she says, "You weren't listening to a word I said, were you?" So she goes off to the bedroom, and Tyler finishes his last bite of food and says, "That's a weird way to start a conversation." All right, and 9 out of 10 husbands would agree that their wife is always right. The 10th husband hasn't been found. Right? True? All right, so we're going to get going with speeches here. And what I want to do is I want to welcome the first two people and introducing the only man to make Chuck Norris cry and the sweetest woman to only make Jeff cry would be Jeff and Diane Boyle.
I would have liked to have a little bit more time to try to kind of memorize and prepare this a little bit, but the words are what I want to say. I just don't have them memorized. So I did take the time to write it down. I just didn't take the time to memorize them. But as I say, they're the real deal. Before I get started, I want to put a plug in for Diane's warming blankets over there. Nobody, they're beautiful. They will work if it was cold. But anyway, good job, dear. Good job, dear. So, hello, everyone. We are Natalie's parents. I'm Jeff. This is my partner, Diane. Before we get going, I want to basically announce a little quick house rule because, as you see, I got a couple of cups here, so I got a couple of kind of mini toasts to do. So, quick rule. So during my speech, to save you from getting up and down, I don't want you to do that more than once. So please be seated until basically I do give the toast to the bride. So kind of just as a bit of an example, if I was to say something pleasant about Tyler, offer a compliment, no need to get up. So Diane and I, we'd like to welcome everybody here to the wedding reception for Natalie and Tyler. They're fortunate enough to have so many amazing friends and family who support them. And I've got to know a bunch of them. The guys went off golf, and I got to spend some more time with the girls. They're awesome. Awesome girls. So, we're kind of, obviously tonight is to basically formally endorse, talk about the next chapter in their life together, as a married couple. What an exciting day, and it's far from over. We will definitely party a little bit later after all of this stuff goes on. I definitely want to start, as Dave said, with everything going on. Thank everybody for attending and, cohorts and all that. Congratulations, everybody. You're in the top 100. Definitely want to, make special mention to those who travel across the country to attend today with us. And like I say, with the COVID rules changing all the time, it's been quite a roller coaster. So my first toast is to all of you for making the effort with everything to put some time away and attend with us today. So the first toast is to all of you. So cheers. The next one is to the parents of the groom, Doug and Ann. Most father-in-laws don't get the time that I've had to get to know Tyler over the last number of years. 6, 7, 8, I don't know how long he's been hanging around, but it's been a while. And it's great to know that Natalie is with someone that treats her with respect and as an equal, with kindness and as a true partner. And as a father, it's comforting to know that she's in good hands, and it's clear to see that Tyler was raised with strong morals. A huge thank you does go out to Doug and Ann for raising such a great son, and please share a toast and a glass to Doug and Ann. Quick little story about Natty. Most of Natty's childhood would be spent following her brothers. She's always adored them. She'd be off to a band recital for one of them and a hockey rink for another. You can guess which one was which. often traveling to the other provinces they got older to continue her love and support for them. She would adapt to each of them with the same amount of love and interest. Just like Natalie loves her brothers the same, Diane and I love all of our kids. They each have great character, kindness, and support for one another. They are, however, quite different. And the best example I can give of this was in the middle of the night, 20 years ago or thereabouts, at 2 a.m. in the morning. With no warning, Diane and I woke up each of the kids to head out on a surprise vacation. Diane didn't even know where we were going. First, we woke up Chris. Come on, Chris, get dressed. We're heading on a vacation. He responds, no, I can't. I got an assignment due. I got this to do. I got this to do. No, I can't. Go away. Eventually, we convinced him that it was all approved by his teachers, and he was fine. Next was Matt, typically a bear waking up. He wasn't too worried about school, but he wasn't happy about waking up. And then, as a group, we all went in to wake Natalie together. We said, come on, Natty, we're heading on a trip right now. And I swear in 2 seconds, Natalie was up, smiling, ready to go. Where are we going? She was happy and up for anything on the go. So on we went to Moncton. They didn't know where we were going until we passed security at the airport. And then they finally knew that we were headed to the Dominican. And it was one of the best trips we ever had. It was awesome. Matt says he's going to do that to his kids every year. I don't know, but it was fun. It was fun. Okay, that's now on to Tyler. So Tyler and I have had lots of little runs over the years. He's tested me, I think. I've tested him a little bit. But I guess the one that I think early on in the dating just before Christmas that stands out as an oh my God moment was I received a phone call from Nova Scotia Power. At the time, we owned a 4-unit apartment building over there, and it was vacant. And they just informed me that they were shutting the power off because water was pouring out the basement windows. So apparently 229,000 gallons of water came into the apartment after the pipes burst. Tyler was upstairs having one of his patented hour-long baths. So after I hung up the phone, I kind of screamed a little bit, said a few bad words for the next 10 minutes. In the course of Tyler's and Natalie's dating could have changed with Tyler's next move. So A, Tyler could have stayed in the bathroom and wait till Natalie got home. Or B, come down the stairs, look in the fridge and say, Jeff, we're getting low on milk. So thankfully, Tyler chose A. And a result of that decision, we would officially like to welcome Tyler into the family. Please raise your glass and let's toast to Tyler. So, early on in getting to know Tyler, though, I'm not done with Tyler yet. Early on in getting to know Tyler, I'm not really sure if, as I said before, whether he was testing me or I was testing him. It kind of went back and forth. But regardless, on a warm summer night just like this, we're at the orchard. And actually, I think we probably were no more than a couple hundred yards away from where we are right now. We were planting trees of some kind. Tyler proceeds to break a shovel that he was working with. No big deal, right? It happens. Shit happens. No big deal. So, not long after he breaks it, I give him another shovel. And basically, it wasn't too much longer than that, he breaks that shovel. So with no more extra shovels, Tyler basically smiles, shrugs his shoulders, and guess my work's done. Guess my work's done. So I wasn't so much interested in winning the battle that day. I was more interested in winning the war. So I thought, okay, how could I prevent this from happening again? You little whatever. So I went back to my shop, my scrap metal place, and I looked for the thickest pipe I could find, and I welded that sucker to the bottom of a shovel. And either Tyler didn't dare break that after, or he couldn't. I don't know which, but either way, I'd like to present Tyler with that shovel. I don't forget.
Keep it right here.
You can bury me with it. So finally I get to say a few words about Natty. Natalie has an endless list of great qualities, but one that stands out is her amazing kindness. She always puts everybody first, including today. Her goal was simple today: everybody enjoy the day, everybody have fun, and everybody relax. So tonight, it's so special having the wedding at the Orchard. When Natalie first told us she was thinking about getting married here, I was so happy, thrilled. So now we're here at the reception on the very spot, really right here. Natalie planted beans and corns and carrots and all this stuff in her first basically go around at a garden. And it's just amazing to be able to have people here and do this tonight. So we're very proud of them both for a number of things that they've done. Obviously, recently or whatever, they've navigated through building their new home together. And we couldn't, as I say, we couldn't be prouder. We stood back, we watched them mature, we watched them deal with all the challenges that they had and how they solved them. Building a home during COVID wasn't easy for anybody, but a first-time couple, it was very difficult, but literally they did an amazing job. They're settled in, and now they've got a beautiful home. Natalie and I basically got to spend some special one-on-one time. Her and I basically took an amazing trip to Florida. I think she might have been around 14. We went there to pick up a new vehicle for Diane, actually, the old Murano, for anybody remembers, and we drove it home. Natalie and I had tons of fun. We passed the time away on the way home. We basically had a game where if we spotted a Walmart store, I think it might have been 25 points or 50 points, and we seen a Walmart truck, it was 100 points, and a Cracker Barrel restaurant, it was 50 points or whatever it was, and we were kind of, I'm trying to drive and see all that stuff, but anyway, we had fun. Another thing we did was we also had a ritual where when we crossed the state line, Natty, again, she's like 14, so just before crossing the state line on the way home, I would basically let her take the wheel. So she took the wheel, and she could then tell anybody she drove in every state on the way home. And right after we crossed the state line, we basically stop into the first store, the visitor information, and we'd get a little trinket, like a fridge magnet or a T-shirt, or I have no idea what the other stuff we got, Natty, but it was cool. So it was a fun trip, and I will cherish that forever, Natalie. Since then, Natalie has continued to push herself beyond her comfort level. Since then, Natalie pushed herself beyond her comfort level, achieving a degree from UPEI. It was amazing. Along the way, she received outstanding team member awards from the entire group of Murphy restaurants when she was at Gahan. She's now with Veterans Affairs as an official, making sure veterans receive what they're entitled to for making the ultimate sacrifice, or for making the sacrifice of serving our country. We're so very proud of her. She is a great daughter. She's a great friend. And now she will absolutely be a great wife. So in speaking with Sean earlier, Sean basically had us together, and he was looking for tidbits of information about Natalie and kind of our family dynamics and all that sort of stuff growing up, and how we kind of worked together and what was our vibe and all that sort of stuff. So one of the things I told Sean about was story about really the only time I had to discipline Natty. and it might have been around when she was 7 years old or something thereabouts or whatever. We were big sponsors at the Scotty Tournaments of Hearts or whatever, and they gave us one of these wooden, specially made cradles with all the Scotty's insignias and all this kind of stuff on it or whatever. And Natalie, for whatever reason, decided to be a great opportunity to smash it. So I think I can still remember Chris and Matt kind of like, let's get the popcorn. This is going to be good. So I, like I said, it's not something I don't think I ever did before or I ever did since, but I got a hold of Natalie up in her bedroom, and literally my handprint was on her butt. So it was, anyway, we still kind of talk about that a little bit here or there now and then. Yeah. But kind of what I didn't tell Sean, there's a detail or whatever that I didn't mention, failed to mention, was when I messed up. I messed up when she was about 4 or 5 years old. She had just received and got a new bike at home. And so that bike might have been 3 days old and 2 days old, 2 days old. Okay, I'm sorry. And when I gave it to her, basically I told her the story, Natalie, just make sure you put the bike in front of my truck or whatever whenever you're done for the day. So on a Saturday, like I can still remember the day. On a Saturday, I'm late. I'm headed to Oyster Bed. If you might know, I used to go out there and fool around. So I was on my way. I was late to head to Oyster Bed, and I jump in the truck, and I basically moved about 5 feet, and I heard this clunk, clunk. And so I went a little bit farther, and I recognized it was Natalie's bike. So I was kind of a little bit upset, worked up, whatever. I basically didn't really know what to do, and I just drove off and left her in there, kind of standing there with the rest of the family, like not impressed, and so she did exactly what I asked her to do. Normally, I drive the truck in. This day, I backed the truck up. So she put the bike in front of the truck. It did exactly what I told her to do. So it wasn't Natalie that messed up. I messed up. So here we are 20-some years later. Now, please join me in toasting the most beautiful bride ever, Natalie. Sherry. Cheers.
Well, I don't have a lot to say as much as Jeff did, but Natalie, on behalf of all the Sharons, I want to welcome you to the Sharon family, and you're a great person. Here's to Natalie.
Okay, hi everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Christopher. I'm one of Natty's brothers, and I'm beyond proud to stand here today as her man of honor. I am full of admiration and pride for the commitment that her and Tyler have made today.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm from Hampton, New Brunswick, if everyone's curious. I did have specific instructions from Natalie to hold my shit together today, so I'm going to do my best. Natalie and I met playing volleyball 11 years ago for Holland College. No, our team was not good. I think we won one set, not even a game, maybe a set. There's 3 sets in a game, and you got to win, those who don't know volleyball. We might have won a set or 2, that's about it. I think my favorite memory of Natalie throughout that whole year So when you get subbed off the court, the ref goes like, sub, and come in. And Natalie slammed him a high five. And it was at UMBSJ, and I died. I think we all died. Anyway, probably my favorite memory of that year of us traveling. And anyway, there was lots. Anyway.
Yeah, we thought it might be fun to kick off our speech by listing off a few of the things that come to mind when we think of Natty. There are many things to describe Natty. Most often I think of kindness, laughter, beauty.
Love, goopy strength, someone with a strong moral compass, just does the right thing, and not to mention you're a best friend. I also think about the Dominican. So back in 2013, Natalie convinced me to go on a trip to Dominican with some friends. So we were going to meet some friends in Dominican. I said, okay, cool. We're going to go meet some friends in Dominican. So that was Tyler, Corey, Brad, and Mark Wilson. The first day we arrived, the boys were nowhere to be seen, so we thought we were on the wrong resort. We're like, okay, we're here. That's fine. We're just hanging out. The next day came around, the guys showed up, and we're like, oh, there's the boys. Or she was like, those are the guys. So we're like, oh, that's cool. And come to find out that Brad pulled a Brad. And and they landed them. He landed himself in the Dominican hospital with a split foot. So that's where they were the night we had arrived. They were gone. I couldn't help but immediately judge Tyler, the dude with the cane. I said, who's the guy with the cane? And that was Tyler. Each night went by, oh my gosh, we partied, we hung out, we went to beach parties, we went on catamarans, we went scuba diving. Like day by day, we just hung out more and more and more, became closer and closer, until near the end of the week, she's like, I think Tyler has a crush on me. And I was like, oh, what do you think? I'm like, oh, this is cool. And like, come to think of it, like, you know, he was in our room a lot more than like with the boys at the casino. Like he was like with Justin Bieber dancing. We're like, okay, this is fun. Like he's got to have a little bit of a crush. So here we are today, 8 years later. Natalie finally decided to go out with Tyler a month later. And yeah, here we are. It's Chris's turn now. I'm gonna take a moment.
Collect yourself.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my shit together for a minute. You go.
Yeah, so it's been quite the journey to get to this point. You know, from the day she was born, Natty has been deeply loved by her brothers. On the day she was born, Matt and I went to the hospital with Mom. And we went to visit Mom and Natty in the hospital. And somehow I convinced myself along the way that I wanted my little sister to be named Chelsea. No idea where that came from, no idea why I had that conviction, but there it was. There's even a home video of me talking to her at the hospital saying like, hey, Chelsea, hi. And my mom has to step in to say, no, her name's not Chelsea. And I clearly was not impressed with that at the time. And you can actually see Matt in the background with a dinky, and he's driving it around all over the hospital bed and like bouncing it off of Natty's forehead, the day-old baby. Typical Matt, that was our childhood. So even though I thought I wanted a Chelsea, I'm forever grateful that we got a Natty. From the get-go, Natty has always been a true team player and game for absolutely whatever. Having two older brothers, I can only imagine how difficult that must have been. It must not have been always easy. She always managed to hold her own with both of us, though. She has a brilliant way of fitting into any situation. As Dad mentioned, whether it's crafting with me or learning the Spice Girls choreography in my bedroom, to playing sports with Matt or cheering him on at the hockey rink. She was always, genuinely happy to be there with us doing whatever. Throughout my life, she's been my rock, and I truly don't know where I'd be without her. Whenever things have been tough, she always keeps me grounded and reminds me of the beautiful and special things in this world. In school, when things would get stressful around exam time, I would sneak off for little breaks in her room, and we would watch an episode of two of something on the Disney Channel, and it just helped to calm me right down. Natty's also one of the most loyal and dependable people you could know. You can always count on her to have your back, and she's of the first to volunteer if you need any help. She's helped me move multiple times across Atlantic Canada, and I'm hoping after this wedding we might be finally even Steven. That hopefully check paid. Great, good. And so now to the man of the hour, Tyler. I would like to formally welcome you to the family. Even though you've been a part of our family for a long time now, we're so happy today that you've made it official. As someone marrying a Boyle, I commend you on your courage. Now that I think of it, you and Natty both have a similar approach of going with the flow and being able to fit in wherever. I know Matt and Dad give you a good run for your money, but you've pushed through that and you're still here, so thumbs up. We're also proud of you both. It's been amazing to see both you, Natty, and Tyler grow up and build your lives together over the years. I know these last few years have been especially challenging, from building a house together and then rebuilding a house together to planning a wedding during a global pandemic. You've managed to do great things together and will continue to do so for many years to come.
It's going to be a tough one. Natalie, how lucky am I to call you my best friend? Shit, I'm not going to be able to do this, guys. 11 years of friendship and 8 of them being long distance. We've seen each other maybe 2 to 3 times a year for probably the past 8 years. And we're still like this, which is pretty awesome. We've always picked up right where we left off, watching movies, eating a lot of candy, spending time with your family, friends, allowing you to wax my eyebrows at a very young age and with no experience. They're still here. You even drove to New Brunswick to move me from PEI to New Brunswick to move me to Halifax and back to PEI. Just shows the type of person that Natalie is. You're the most loving, caring, and thoughtful person I know. You go out of your way to make people feel like family, and your friends feel welcome and loved and supported. Your family has done nothing but welcome me with open arms, although they may not ever take me paddleboarding again. They certainly know how to make me feel like the island is still like a piece of home to me. I guess to elaborate, we all went paddleboarding for Jeffy's birthday one year at Victoria by the Sea, and I somehow got caught in there's a bridge, and like it sucked me in, and then Jeffy tried to come save me, and then Jeffy got sucked in, and then we all got sucked in, and then I couldn't get back, so Matt had to paddle me back. So I'm working on my core, I promise. Anyway, so we're working on that. We might go back someday, but I got to work on that. Anyway, Tyler, can't believe the guy with the cane is now my best friend's husband, forever partner, and right-hand man, and the best dog dad to Olive and Jake. I want to thank you for loving and caring for my best friend the way you do. It's been an absolute honor to see your story unfold. I'm so thankful I went on that trip with you, Nat. Shit. Not only did I witness your future husband fall in love with you, I also made some forever friends. Like this, these are some solid people right here, I gotta say. Thank you for having me stand by your side today. I'm really grateful.
Yeah, I think we just want to congratulate the happy couple, Natty and Tyler, and we all look forward to this next chapter in your lives together. We love you very much.
And we want to cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
And that's all. We didn't bring a drink, so cheers.
Good job.
Good evening, everyone. So for those of you that don't know me, as Dave said, my name is Jared Kelly. I've known Tyler since grade 12 in Bluefield High School. Just before I start, I think what we can all agree on here is what a wonderful ceremony Sean put on earlier. So let's get a round of applause for Sean. And I mean, it really kind of makes you wish you want to sing, eh, Ty? Yeah. Anyway, when I found out that I might have an opportunity to speak at Tyler and Natalie's wedding, I was excited. I mean, there's very few times you get to stand up in front of a bunch of people and kind of say a bunch of nice things about your friend. And I thought, how hard could it be? I mean, I was a criminal defense lawyer for a year and a half. I've said some wonderful things at a podium for some of the people who've done some of the worst things I've known. And I sat down to think about Tyler. And an hour passed. And then 2 hours passed. And then hours and hours, and you're lucky I didn't bill you for that, Ty. But eventually, I did think of one story that I think really speaks to who Tyler is as a person and how we've gotten here today. This would have been over 10 years ago. We would have been fresh out of high school, and I forget what we were doing in town, but me and Tyler were driving around downtown, and Tyler had something going on that he was really stressed or pissed off about or something, but anyway, it was a big deal. It's probably pretty trivial, but anyway, I mean, you had two 18-year-old guys in the car and like the friggin' brain trust trying to figure this out. And anyway, got real serious at a point. And Tyler said something at one point that I thought was quite profound. And I remembered it because he didn't say much like that. But he said, and I have a quote written down here because I wanted to make sure I got it right. He said, man, I was giving him a hard time about being stressed over this or whatever, and he said, man, I may not know what I want to do for school or work or career or even where I want to live, but one thing I do know is I want to be a husband, I want to be a father, and when it comes to my life, that's my priority. And I think that speaks volume to who Tyler is as a person, how he was raised with Doug and Ann, and when it comes to when I remembered that story, I remembered also there was one other time I remembered that specific moment, and that was shortly after Tyler started dating Natalie. Because if anyone's met Natalie, and I thought I was being creative, getting all these adjectives down here, but it's pretty clear that everyone thinks the same thing. Natalie's also someone who is an incredibly selfless person, a fiercely loyal person, and there's quite honestly no one I'd rather walk down the aisle to meet Tyler today. So with that, I'd like everyone to raise a toast and celebrate Tyler and Natalie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave, for that kind and warm introduction. Before I get into my speech, there's a couple things that I kind of learned tonight or that I wanted to address. Chris, I realize that you and me have something in common. When I was young, I used to dance the Spice Girls in my bedroom too, so that's something we have in common right there. Dave, you said Jeff Boyle was intimidating. I once heard that he beat the Mona Lisa in a staring contest, so that is, I agree with your statement there. I also learned something about the Boyles' road trips, I guess, or their family trips. All your trips seem to involve going from PEI to Moncton to the Dominican. PEI to Moncton to Florida. PEI to Moncton to somewhere else. Well, the Duguay family, our trips when I was growing up involved going from PEI to Moncton. I mean, Crystal Palace was literally the best place in the world, so I was totally fine with that. I got a lot of paper here, but don't worry because the font is really big, so I can see it. And also, I want to say thank you to Rachel for tearing up because I didn't want to be the first one that probably does it. Where do I start? I have a lot of stuff that insults Dave here at the start because I expect to get it a little bit worse this night. So, that's pretty much the first page is actually gone from this speech. But on behalf of the bride and the groom, I want to thank everyone that's here tonight, especially those who had to travel to PEI. As we all know, with the current pandemic and our situation, traveling has become a bigger hassle, and at times it hasn't even been an option for a lot of us. So I think that we're all really lucky that we can gather here tonight and we can celebrate Tyler and Natalie's relationship. I don't want to get too political because, but when we were planning this wedding on the lead up to it, we weren't sure how many people we could have. Maybe we're only going to have 50 people. And like, table 11 wouldn't be here. At one point, it was going to be no dance floor. We have a dance floor tonight, which is also great. At one point, it was going to be, do we have to wear masks? Don't we have to wear masks? And like I said, I'm not going to say whether I'm an advocate for wearing masks or not, but I think we can all agree tonight would be a lot better if Bill Moore had to cover his face. Bill, I love you. Just grow that beard a little bit bigger, please, for everybody. All right, so that's gone there. What can we say? Bill, yeah, let's talk about him. So this group of friends can get a little bit rowdy at times. It's been a long week leading up to this wedding. I think, pretty much 90% of this head table doesn't live on PEI. And so whenever a group of friends can come together, spend that quality time, regardless of what the occasion is, those are the times that you remember. Those are the times that you talk about. And so I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone at the table, anybody that was on Tyler's bachelor party, Natalie's bachelorette party. I think we all tried to make Tyler and Natalie's week and also tonight something that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. All right, so there goes that away. For a lot of us here tonight, I think it's probably the first time we've ever spent an evening in Warren Grove. So here's some facts about Warren Grove. Warren Grove was established in 1985. It was actually named after the Warren family that settled in the area in 1808. The top 5 businesses in Warren Grove include Dave's Snowmobile and Repair, an orchard, another orchard, and literally shit. And fun fact, you can see all these businesses from Tyler and Natalie's second story patio. But the most important thing is on December 3rd, 2020, after much hassle, 2 of my best friends had their first night in their dream home. And then tonight, August 13th, 2021, we get to celebrate those people. I first met Tyler back in grade 3. There was a little bit of an incident. I'm not going to go too much into it, but Tyler used to chase me around the playground trying to stab me with his EpiPen. Which is part of the reason why I ate peanut butter sandwiches every day at school. So I knew he wouldn't attack me. To this day, anytime I see somebody wearing a fanny pack, I get a little defensive. So yeah, that was in grade 3, and it wasn't until grade 12 actually where my good friend Jared, he said, "Hey man, like I've been hanging out with this Tyler Sharon guy," and I was like, "Man, did he try to stab you?" And he was like, "No, he doesn't do that anymore. He's actually like a pretty cool guy right now," and that's all the convincing it took. Literally, me and Tyler started hanging out right then, and we've been best friends ever since. And I mean, man, if he didn't do that in grade 3, we could have had another 9 years of amazing friendship. So another thing that has been actually talked about a lot tonight is this magical trip to the Dominican Republic where apparently Tyler falls in love, Natalie doesn't, but this trip seems to be a very focal point in this relationship. And what a lot of people here might not know is that I'm actually the reason why these two came to meet in the Dominican Republic. So back in 2013, the few of the guys, we planned our trip down south, and Jeff and Diane probably had a conversation with my parents, and they were aware of this. And then Jeff and Diane knew that Natalie and Rachel were looking to book a trip, so they told Natalie to send me a message, and maybe we would be welcoming to let the girls come down and join our trip. So Natalie sent me a message, and I said, you know what? that seems like a great idea, but I'll run it by the guys just to make sure everything's cool. So I sent the guys a message, and I said, we are not even off PEI, and I'm helping you guys talk to girls down south already. Like, I can only do so much here. I said, I have 2 girls that want to come on the trip with us. And they said, well, who are they? And I said, well, the first girl, her name's Rachel Scoville. I've only met her a couple times, but she's pretty friggin' awesome. And then I said, the next one is, her name is Natalie Boyle. And this is the part where I thought I was going to say a bunch of unique things about Natalie, but I'm just going to repeat what everyone else has already said about her. I said she's one of the most kind-hearted and caring people that I know. I said she always puts the well-being of others above her own. And I said from her parents, she learned about hard work, dedication, consideration, and respect for others. And I said she has so much love to give that she truly deserves somebody that can do the same for her. And then the boys said, yeah, but are they hot? I said, yes, they're hot. And they're like, okay, bring them on. Okay. Natalie and Rachel approve. So I go back to the boys and I say, guys, just so you know, the girls are going to come on the trip. And they said, I went back to Natalie and Rachel. I said, the guys would love for you guys to come. And they said, well, who are these guys that you're going on the trip with? And I said, well, the first guy, his name's Mark Wilson. I said, he may come off as a bit sarcastic, but he is a great guy, and he'll likely play the role of chaperone for the other guys that are down there. I said, he's the type of guy that might take a first aid kit down just in case. I said, the next guy, his name's Brad McKay. He's the guy that's going to need the first aid kit. But it's not like he's going to get in a fight with 5 guys on the first night that we're down there. And as Rachel alluded to earlier, it's not like on the second night we get down there, he's going to use that first aid kit, but we're still going to have to go to a Dominican hospital. And for those of you that are curious, yes, there are tip jars in a Dominican ambulance. That is true. There was a tip jar in that Dominican ambulance. And then I said, the third guy, I said, his name's Tyler Sharon. I said, Tyler is one of the most creative people that I know. I said, whether it be from playing music, planning a group activity with his friends, he always has fresh ideas, and he always wants to do something fun and interesting. I said, once you get past all the cheesy puns, he can actually be a pretty funny guy. I said he can be very competitive, and that helps him push himself and those around him. I said he knows what he wants in life, and at times he may not know the best way to get there, but he will keep trying and working until he figures it out. And I think today I'm very proud of where Tyler is, and I'm very interested to see where he will go. And I said, Tyler, he's always there for a friend, but he also has so much love to give that he truly deserves someone who can do the same for him. And then the girl said, yeah, but are they hot? There was a couple of things that happened through that, but I also I do believe that setting up Natalie and Rachel to come on that trip did play a big role in Tyler and Natalie getting together. There are a million stories I could share about Tyler and Natalie. For example, I could tell a bunch of stories about making music in Jared's basement or hanging out in Brad's garage. Chicka, chicka. I could tell you that Tyler used to put apple juice in beer bottles when he first started going to parties in high school. Just because he wanted to fit in, but he didn't want to disappoint his parents. I could tell you a bunch of stories about our time working at the Cavendish Beach Music Festival and the life advice we received from Billy Murphy and Joe Pierce. I could tell you about how Tyler talked about Natalie when they first got together, and from the moment they got together, he knew she was the one. I could tell you about the time we were drinking at our friend's house, and we found Tyler in a storage closet in the basement on a rocking horse wearing a cowboy hat. by himself, screaming at the top of his lungs, "F you, Jake Gyllenhaal." I could tell you about the time that Matt broke Tyler's ankle when we were over in Fredericton and Tyler had to spend the entire weekend in a hospital. I could also tell you that the injury might have been oversold to Tyler's parents, and they were sure to rush over to make sure that Tyler was okay. Yeah, this one's weird to explain. I could tell you about the time we were playing a drinking game. Natalie, I'm not sure if you remember this. So part of the game was when the person said the word gecko, everyone in the room had to run to a wall and they had to make sure that one hand and one foot touched the wall. And the last person to do it had to take a drink or something like that. Anyways, the person says the word gecko, and Natalie gets up and she sprints to the wall, but she jumps and she throws her body at the wall, where she crashes into the wall and then stumbles on the floor. But she was not the last, and she did not have to take her drink, so I think it all worked out there. I could tell you why Tyler will never hit a 14 when the dealer's showing a 5 in blackjack. Speaking of blackjack, I kind of got a little nervous because I saw that one of the Red Shore security officers is here tonight. Please don't kick me out. It's a different situation. I apologize for how I act at the casino. This is a totally different spot. I'm sure he did not like seeing me. I could tell you about the time that Tyler thought it was a good idea to walk from downtown Charlottetown to Cornwall in a T-shirt in February. And when the cops stopped and asked him if he was okay, he said no. He's already halfway there. What's another half to go? I'm sorry. They're all harmless. I could tell you about the times where the boys would ask Tyler to hang out, and he would say no, he already had plans with Natalie that night, only to find out later that Tyler and Natalie did not have any plans, and that Natalie was actually encouraging Tyler to go hang out with the boys, but Tyler wanted to spend time with Natalie. I guess it worked out or something. I don't know. I could tell you about a very vulnerable time in my life where Tyler was there for me and how much it means to me. And I would probably break down crying in front of everyone at a wedding. But why would I do that? That's not my style. I've done that before. That was kind of like an inside joke there. I could tell you about the times that Tyler and Natalie go above and beyond just to make each other happy, just to do something special for each other. And I could tell you about the 2 times that Tyler hit Natalie with a golf ball while we were golfing. Last month, 4 days apart. And I could also tell you how tough Natalie is for walking those off. There's a million stories I could tell about these two, but one thing I am confident in is that the best stories for you guys are yet to come. I'm excited to see what happens to you guys in the next 8, the next 10, the next 20, the next 30 years of your guys' lives together, and I'm sure that when we're celebrating this wedding and this relationship and this marriage down the road, that we're going to have a bunch of new stories that we can tell and have a bunch of laughs with. So I just want to thank you guys for letting me be part of your day, and I hope everyone else enjoys the rest of their night. Thanks.
All right, so just like Jeff, I didn't memorize my speech, so I'm going to be reading it off my phone, but all the words I have written down are what I wanted to say. I had about 3 cans of Hollywood IPA when I wrote most of the speech, so I'm not sure what I wrote, but we'll see what happens. Also, just a disclaimer before we start, if any of my jokes fall flat tonight, I encourage everyone here to laugh regardless, seeing as how the open bar is dependent on those laughs. All right, so first off, I want to thank everyone here tonight for making Natalie and I's special night the best it could possibly have been. We care about you all very much and couldn't imagine not having any one of you here tonight. I also want to remember those few important people that could not be here in person, but rather with us in spirit. The loving and caring Gary Thompson, the sweet and dry-humored Barry Cudmore, the beautiful and loving Shirley Foster,
and the stern but gracious Burton Foster. You were all truly missed but never forgotten. For those with a drink, let's toast to them. All right, so I have a lot of inside jokes, so if you hear somebody laughing, it was funny. All right, so where do I begin? I've never been much of a speech giver, and as like Dave said, for those of you that know me really well, the reason I don't usually speak in public is because I tend to repeat myself multiple times, making short conversations unnecessarily long, because I stutter. Nobody got that. All right, cool. But tonight I decided to put my ego aside and step up to the plate and try to deliver the best I can. I would like everyone to give Dave a round of applause for the wonderful job he's doing tonight as MC. I can't imagine having anyone better to fill the role of MC tonight. I mean, we wanted Matt Boyle, but I feel for some reason he would have came up shorthanded. Jeff got it. Where's Matt? Hey, buddy. Oh, so sorry. I'm so sorry. He's going to beat me up later. I also want to thank our lovely photographer, Susan, and videographer, Mel, for amazing pictures and videos they have taken this evening. Give them a round of applause. Thank you. Their ability to capture these special moments takes a high level of ability and skill, whether it's standing in the rain to capture that one perfect engagement photo, or even capturing the genuine emotion of the first look between groom and bride, or even the special moment where Nelson Duguay just spent 10 minutes trying to force the bartender to check his ID. Nelson, you don't need an ID for prune juice. I will now be taking this next moment to thank the bridal party. You have all impacted our lives in different ways, and we both thank you for standing with us tonight. So first we have Brittany Belanger. Some call her loving and caring. Some call her smart and wonderful, while others have called her homely. Corey Duguay. I'll let him explain that to anybody who wants to know. He's not lying. That's the sad part. But I think we can all agree that she is truly a special person, and Natalie and I both cherish our friendship with you. So next, we have Miss Shayna Kelly. For those of you that have not had the pleasure of meeting Shayna, she is the quietest, most laid-back individual I have ever met, until she wakes up. Then prepare yourselves. Shayna, I may not trust you to cut my hair, but I trust that you'll always have Natalie and I's best interests at heart, and Natalie and I both cherish our friendship with you. Next, we have Mr. Chris Boyle, the wonderful brother of Natalie. The best way to describe Chris is not only having a heart of gold and a stardust soul, but also having a 30-year-old box of Fruit Loops that he refuses to part ways with. Chris, I promise you that cereal is as stale as Harold McKay's mustache after a round of hairspray. I love you, H. Time to let it go, man. But in all seriousness, I know how you have impacted Natty's life, and I just want to thank you for accepting me into your family. Next, we have the one and only Miss Rachel Scoville, Natalie's maid of honor. Rach is an amazing person, and for someone with the last name Scoville, believe me, she is not spicy whatsoever. Unless you promise her a night on the town and she is forced to watch 4 grown men drinking IPA struggling to get through a game of drunk chess. 30 minutes before last call. I just want to take this time to apologize and that we all owe you one. Rach, you mean the world to both Natalie and I, and we can't wait for what the future holds for our friendship. All right, now on to the gentleman on my left. First, we have Mr. Cody Belanger. A rugged, burly, old teddy bear basically is the best way to describe this guy. Funny story, the first time I met Cody, we were up in Kingston, Ontario, where he came with another friend of ours to the hotel we were staying at. He didn't say much when he first got there. I didn't think anything of it. And then I decided to go to the bathroom. I kid you not. I came out no less than 45 seconds later, and he was in the middle of the group conducting the best version of Because I Got High you have ever heard. I knew right there he was special. And me and Natalie both love you, ma'am. Next we have Matthew Larock. I'm not going to mention anything about him breaking my ankle because I think you're all aware of that. But what I can say about this guy that wasn't already said at every other wedding he's been to. Oh, I know, sorry. Ladies, feel free to put away your pepper spray for the evening. Matty isn't single anymore, so Matt is the sweetest guy you'll ever meet. He's full of humor. He oozes kindness and sweats a lot. Like, not joking. I saw him sweating, looking for a yogurt in the fridge, even with all that cold-ass air fridge blasting him in the face. I'm not even lying. It makes no sense. I don't understand. Anyways, we both love you, Maddie, and we are super happy you made it here tonight. Next, we have Mr. Jared Kelly, one member of the most influential high school rap group that came out of Bluefield High School in the year 2009. And if you don't know it yet, you will. I've learned a lot from Jared throughout the years. I've learned not to spend all my back-to-school money on one T-shirt just to let someone rip both sleeves off at the bar. I also learned that Bluetooth Man is an acceptable costume for a wave Halloween party. But most importantly, I learned that no matter how far you go, a friend is a friend for life. Natty and I love you, ma'am. Next, we have the legend himself, Brad McKay. Or what I tell people that are bugging me at the bar, my personal bodyguard. You know you're extremely close when one person accidentally spills fruit punch on you in Dominican lobby, whispers that he may not have done that by accident. The other person then throwing their whole glass of fruit punch on him in retaliation, causing high tensions and the need to be separated, and then 10 minutes later, chugging a beer in a swim-up bar. If that's not friendship, I don't want it. You're the best, Brad. Me and I just love you. Finally, we have Mr. Corey Duguay. I didn't actually try to stab him. I think he was just trying to flare up his speech a bit. I've seen this guy at his best, and I've seen him at his absolute worst. Both times consisting of a mullet, a black eye, a chipped tooth, and a Frosty Treat T-shirt that he refused to take off for days. I knew you were going to say that, Watts. I knew you were going to say that. Basically, a 10 disguised as a 2. Sure. Sure. Sure, he tried to kill me in junior high by eating peanuts in the peanut-free zone. Sure, he accused me of robbery on the blackjack table, claiming my inability to play basic strategy. And sure, no matter where I went, no matter the social gathering, I could always count on him to start chanting, explaining to the world that I had a mangina. But like I've always said, you chirp the ones you love the most, and I don't think we plan on stopping chirps anytime soon. Me and Natalie are grateful for your friendship, Corey. We love you. Now, before I get to my lovely wife, there are 4 people that I need to talk about tonight. The first person is Diane Boyle. The saying, she is like a second mother to me, it's the perfect description for how I see this person. I need a drink. Beer, anything. Thank you. Thank you. All right, here we go. I remember the first day I met her. I walked into her home and she was doing laundry. We both locked eyes, and I know at that moment I was more than okay to help myself to anything in the fridge. And trust me, I did. Her caring nature and patience, her PG-rated chirps, and the strength she has shown in the hardest of times when life has been totally flipped upside down are just a small fraction of the reasons I didn't cry all day. I don't understand this. For how much I love this woman. I see so much of you in Natalie, and I thank God every day that I'll have you in my life forever. I love you. Okay, now I'm definitely not going to cry for this one. Then there's Jeff Boyle. All right, here we go. Now, I may recycle. He already mentioned about the whole apartment thing, but I'm probably going to recycle a little bit of that. But when I started dating Natalie, I've had so many people coming up to me telling me, good luck. You better watch yourself. And wait till you meet her father. I started to realize that Jeff had a bit of a reputation of being a hard ass. And I guess you can say, a bit of a hard ass, I guess you could say. I thought to myself, however, you can't be that bad. And let me tell you, I was dead wrong. When I met him, he seemed like he was pretty relaxed, probably because he was shirtless, lying on the couch, balancing a bowl of Cheetos on his stomach. Yeah, I'm not lying. But then things started to happen. It was the odd business call or two, and then maybe a few stories he would share with the rest of the family, and then came the apartment buildings. I can't really dive into too much, but let's just say a second-story window never seemed so appealing. But don't get me wrong, a sassy wise man once told me, Jeff, you were like a coconut, hard on the outside and soft on the inside. Thank you for that one, Sasha. And the more I got to know Jeff, the more that made sense. He said that he changed someone else's tires to show that he loved them, and that he would never do the same for me. But if my calculations are correct, not only has he changed my tires 12 times, but he also fed me for 8 years, let me eat all his food, let me borrow any tools I need, and provided me a daughter to make out with. So with all that being said, I love you too, Jeff. Then there are my parents. Hi. I may have got all my crying out of my system, but trust me, this is home. What can you really say about the people that raised you? My mom. Oh, damn it, I'm going to cry again. You have been through so much, but you never stopped being a mother to me. I think about all the hours and time you sacrificed to make sure my life was the best it possibly could be. You have given me every opportunity, given me knowledge, instilled responsibility, and the list goes on and on. And I'm not standing here today if it weren't for you. Growing up, I never realized why you made certain decisions. But as I got older, I started to truly understand that you always had my best interest at heart. I love you so much, and you're the best mother a son could ask for. Dad. The quickest speech giver I've ever met in my life. A man of few words. As I was writing the speech, I thought to myself, how many times have I looked you in the eye and said how proud I am of you? When you're young, you don't realize the sacrifices that your parents make for you. But now that I'm older, I've seen the sacrifices and the hard work that you put in every single day to make sure that I understand responsibility, hard work, and taking care of the ones you love most. Whether I was sitting on your lap listening to Leonard Skinner in the kitchen, or you were chasing me around the house because you thought I said the F word. There was never a moment that passed by that I ever questioned your love for me. You were the one man that I looked to every day and aspired to be like. I love you. Whew. All right, here we go. Finally, and I love to say this, I have my wife, Miss Natalie Sharon, I guess now. When I wrote it, it said Boyle, and then now we're whatever. Anyways, I sat down over the speech trying to figure out what to say, how to say it, and how long it would take me. I ended up deciding that there were no words to describe how I feel about you, and not enough time in the world to say those words if they existed. The best way that I know how to tell you I love you is by doing this.